Like me, like. Awesome, awesome. And we are live. We are live, guys. So today, my apologies, guys. We are supposed to actually start 10 minutes earlier. Just because of a few technical issues, they're starting 10 minutes later. So, welcome. My name is Gideon. I'm the host of Living in Eka. This is a channel that talks about anything and everything living in Kenya from especially an expat point of view. And today, before I even go to my guest, for today, for guys who are interested, because I've been having a lot of questions in terms of experts wanting to come to Nairobi. So if you're interested in coming to Nairobi and you want someone to book your Airbnb's accommodation, you're into real estate, you are looking at the right person. Without much further ado, I'll let my um, able professional and my guest to introduce himself, give us a brief history of who he is as pertaining to insurance, and then we can take it up from there. Awesome. Masiga, welcome. Oh,
Wow,
really thank you.
wow, Gideon.
Welcome.
Wow, thank you, Gideon, my brother.
Yeah.
Um, First of all, I'm so happy and grateful to be on this show,
Yeah.
and thank you for inviting me as an expert in insurance matters. Insurance.
Yeah.
My name is Augustine Masiga. I've
Yeah.
actually been a professional for the last like 30 years.
All right.
15 years of that, I was an insurance underwriter.
Ah,
I worked as an insurance underwriter, drafting various policies.
yeah.
So I can say, based on that, I know what insurance is all about.
Yeah.
And the last 15 years, I've been a consultant. So we
Awesome.
can say it's approximately about 30 years I've been doing this.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I have a good grasp of what insurance is all about. So
Yeah.
I believe I'm qualified to answer your questions, Mr. Gideon.
Awesome, awesome. So, guys, you'll be seeing me often look at here because, in terms of medical insurance, he's the expert. So, I'll be looking at some questions. But to start off with,
Yes.
you know about insurance, but is there insurance for experts? Let's just start it from there. Expert is anyone is there from the diaspora, foreigners in general. Is there insurance for experts in Kenya? Medical insurance, rather, yes.
Yeah. Let's say this
Mhm.
insurance, medical insurance, we are talking
Yeah.
about medical insurance here,
Yes, 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 yes.
is mostly for individuals. Now, when it comes to experts,
Yeah.
experts might not have their personalized insurance for them, but we
Mm-hmm.
have insurance, medical insurance that covers anyone who is in the country.
Yeah.
If let's say you're an expert, we can tailor a package that is specific to the needs of
Mm-hmm.
experts. So what I
Mm-hmm.
can say is that the industry does not provide insurance for experts, but it provides insurance that can cover the needs of experts. That's what I can say.
So are you saying yes? There's not one that is particularly tailored to experts, but there is insurance even if you're an expert. Is that what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. So, what happens? Most insurance companies, we have things called treaty agreements. So, most insurance companies have treaty agreements that cover clients when they're in the country or in the region. But
Mm-hmm.
some insurance companies, the top tier, have
Mm-hmm.
partnered with international insurance companies. So for
Mm-hmm.
that reason, they can tailor products that can be said specific for experts.
Okay.
In that case, then you need to know which insurance company you are dealing with.
Okay. So for
Yes.
the layer, for the I wanted to say for the layman. So if you place yourself as an expert coming to Nairobi, relocating for maybe 2 or 3 years,
Mhm.
and I don't probably won't even use my insurance from where I'm coming from. If I come
Mm.
as let's say Jack or whoever, and I landed in Nairobi, can I get insurance, medical insurance for myself? And what does that look like?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that question, Mr. Gideon. Now, uh, you happen to have come in the country and you want insurance for
Yeah,
yourself or for your family, and
yeah,
of course you are a foreigner, maybe you're from the US or you're from the UK or Canada or one of those countries, and you need insurance for yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, you can get insurance for yourself here
Mm-hmm.
with local insurance companies.
Mm-hmm.
All they need is for you to know what they provide. Now, that's where it becomes important that you get to know what kind of insurance packages are out there. You need to
Mm-hmm.
know who is providing what in terms of limits, in terms of
Yeah.
exceptions, in terms of exclusions, what is
Yeah.
covered, what is not covered. So you need all of that information.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it's important you deal with professionals. You get somebody who is in the field who
Yeah.
does insurance, and they'll advise you which company will provide the best products that can cover you when you're in the country or in the region. Actually, most insurance companies, let me say this, cover you when you are in the region. That means East Africa, East and Central
Oh.
Africa. Yes, so
Oh,
that
I've
will be
actually never
Kenya.
thought of. I've never thought of. So you can have insurance if you have insurance in Kenya that covers East Africa when probably you're traveling and
Yes,
stuff.
yes. So you can
So
have
you're
insurance that covers you
so,
when you're in
so
Kenya, when you're in Uganda,
yeah,
Tanzania, Congo, the East African region. So
yeah.
that's there. That is part of the package. You can get insurance that covers you for all of that.
Okay, now that you've seen, you've all agreed you can get insurance as an expert.
Yes.
Typically, what's the health insurance coverage? What does that look like? If probably you can just give us a taste of maybe is it the same as what they know about? What does typically that entail as insurance cover for an expert,
Okay.
or is
Um,
it general in every part of the world? I don't know.
okay. Most insurance products are actually uh, general in terms of what they provide all over the world. When
Yeah.
we talk specifically of medical insurance cover,
Mhm.
this means insurance that covers when you happen to fall sick, insurance that covers you when you're hospitalized, insurance that covers you when you're in an emergency, an accident,
Yeah.
or all of that. Now,
Yeah.
typically, all insurance companies, whether in Kenya or whether you are in the US, will cover you
Yeah.
for outpatient. That will
Mm-hmm.
be the basic cover.
Mm-hmm.
That will be inpatient. You'll
Yeah.
be covered when you are hospitalized. That means anytime you get
Yeah.
hospitalized, you'll be covered for that. That is usually the basic. The inpatient cover is usually the basic. Sorry, I
Yeah.
said outpatient. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be inpatient. That's the basic. Now,
Yes.
in addition to inpatient, you can take the outpatient cover. That
Mm-hmm.
means you are covered anytime you fall sick, but you don't need hospitalization. That means you don't
Mm-hmm.
need to be admitted in a hospital.
Yeah.
That outpatient is an extra. And
Yeah.
then you can get other added benefits like dental, optical,
Mm-hmm.
maternity. These are optional. They are added on to the cover. And in
Yeah.
addition to that, there's also a funeral expense that is always added also to the cover. Now, the last three are options. So you choose to have them. And of course, they
Mm-hmm.
have a price factor, but
Yeah.
you can choose to have that.
I know we'll come and cover the cost factor of it comprehensively. I'll
Yeah.
come to that later. Let's
Okay.
just un we what's the word? Let's just uncover it slowly and then we'll get to that because that's of course gonna be a really big point. Yeah. So
Yeah.
uh, in terms of medical cover and the hospitals, because I think hospitals and the insurance cover they are closely related. So, are there specific hospitals for expats, or is there specific for expert, or there are recommended ones? If I may ask that, does that make sense?
No. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a really good question. Now, I won't say we have specialized hospitals for experts, but I'll say this: hospitals come in different tiers.
I know
We
there is
have
a bit of background
hospitals
noise. Sorry,
that
what's
fall in the what I call, yeah, that's okay, that's okay.
yeah,
So we have hospitals that I would say fall in the upper tier. That
yeah,
means levels.
yeah,
There are hospitals that are of the higher level.
Yes.
These will be the high-priced hospitals,
Yeah.
and will have better facilities. They'll have
Yes.
better. They'll be working with highly professional experts, specialists rather.
Yes.
Then we have the second tier hospitals and we have the lower tier hospitals. Now,
Yes.
what we'll usually do if I'm recommending insurance for an expat, I
Yes.
recommend they go for the higher tier hospitals.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm allowed to mention names, but
Yes, kindly, actually, when you mention names, actually also tell us what are
yes,
these top tier
yes,
hospitals?
yes,
What
yes,
are they
yes,
exactly?
yes. This
Kindly
top,
to
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, because I wasn't so sure if I could mention them. But
mention
let's
them.
say, for example, we have Nairobi Hospital.
Yes.
Nairobi Hospital is one of the top tier hospital in Kenya.
Yes.
Then we have Karen Hospital.
Yes.
We have MP Shah. So
Aga
those are
Khan.
just an example of the kind of hospitals we are talking about. Now, when you talk of Nairobi Hospital, it's a non-hospital all over the
Yes.
world. You talk
Yes.
of Karen Hospital, is a hospital that admits a high-level
Yeah.
personalities, presidents,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
of high caliber. So
Yeah.
these hospitals have certain facilities. They are specialized in a way that they offer certain benefits and good service provision that
Yeah.
actually works well for experts who are used to high level services.
There's one that you haven't mentioned. I'm just gonna see if
Yeah, yeah.
Aga
Please
Khan.
remind me.
The Aga Khan, yeah.
Yes, Agaka. Oh, sorry. In fact, that should have come like the number two.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know Nairobi hospital. Guys, you from this hospital, don't take it personally. Just so I know Nairobi hospital, the Aga Khan Mata. It's
Yes.
that kind of sort of
Yeah. Good. Good. Yes. Yes.
uh, that's kind of. They also have a mid-level tier, which is still very
Yes.
okay, right?
Very good. Like for example, I can in at this instance I can say Nairobi West. It's a middle
Mm-hmm.
tier hospital, but it's really good, and many
Yes,
others of that level.
yes.
Yeah.
So now that you're talking about these high caliber hospital, I think this is a very good time of talking about the cost. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of seeing what would be the higher end cost for an expert in terms of insurance. What are they looking for? Looking at. Actually, I should have told you that do it in dollars, but I'll try and do it if you don't know it. I'll try and do the math in dollars for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
First of all, I want to give figures per se. The reason
Mhm.
being, medical insurance is highly personalized.
Okay.
It's personalized to the person taking the insurance.
Yes.
Now, what do I mean by personalized? Different people are of different age. So we look at age, we
Yeah.
look at medical history, we
Yeah.
look at uh, what kind of cover you need. Do you need a cover that will cover you, for example, in Kenya shillings, 10 million? You can do
Yeah.
mathematics for that. So
Yes,
the
and the
limit
total
you choose,
10 million. Okay, uh-huh. That would be
yes,
like $80,000 thereabout. All right.
yes, thereabouts. So the
That is
limit
the
you
whole
choose,
cover. You're not saying the much you're paying. You're saying the cover.
no. I'm saying the benefits that
Okay.
you are buying.
Yes. 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 Yes.
So you are buying these benefits from the insurance company. So it
Yes.
starts first of all with the limit that you want, which
Yes.
in the case you've said is 80,000,
80,000.
around 10 million.
Yeah.
That really will be adequate
Yeah.
for inpatient.
Yes.
And then we will want to know, the insurance company will want to know your age. So
Yes.
age determines the price, and this is a common factor in all insurance companies all over the world, whether you're in the US, whether you're in
Yes.
Britain. Age is
Yes.
important. They look at your age. The next
Yes.
thing they look at is your medical history. Of
Yes.
course, if you are perfectly healthy, you'll pay lower premiums.
Yeah.
But if you
Yeah.
happen to have conditions which are covered, chronic, and all of that, I know we'll talk about that.
Yes.
That might determine an extra cost. So that's why I want to say in this program, I want to tell you, when you take insurance, this is how much it's gonna cost. The
Yeah.
cost is dependent on you as an individual and what you are looking for.
I don't. Okay, that granted, I agree. But however, because I've always inquired, I don't have that the comprehensive cover insurance. I'll be honest, at least for that. Yeah. But
Uh-huh.
I know figures usually run for a year. No, someone
Yes.
is saying 10 million is on the high side shared with family. What do you mean you're covered for 10 million, but what you actually pay is how much? If for let's say for a 10 million, you'd pay a cover for how much in a year? That's what probably someone is trying to figure out.
Yeah, I know guys will really want me to fix that, but you
Mm.
see, this is this is a program going out all over the world. So
Yeah.
someone might quote me in future and say, "You said if I take 10 million, and this is how much I'll pay."
Hmm.
So to just remain on the safe side, I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to give you an actual figure, but let's put it this way.
Yeah.
Let's say you are young. Let's
Yeah.
say you're young, you are
Yeah.
between 35 or 40 and below.
Yeah.
So you're young, 40 and
Yeah.
below.
Yeah.
And let's say you don't have any medical conditions,
Yeah.
meaning you're perfectly healthy.
Yeah.
And let's say you need a limit of 5 million. There's
Yeah.
the person said 10 million is on the higher side. Yeah, depends.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
most insurance companies give you 5 million, 2 million, 1 million, whichever you choose. So let's say
Yeah.
you're taking 5 million. So
Yeah.
an average cost, which I wouldn't want to calculate, as an underwriter, I do
Yeah.
what we call risk assessment. I analyze. So my professional background doesn't allow me to tell you the figure without really having some information about the risk. But now I've
Yeah.
tried to create a risk profile for this person. So
Yeah.
if I was to work with that,
Yeah.
the average premium would be, let's say, about for outpatient, for inpatient would be about between 30 to 40,000 Kenya shillings averagely. So I also don't want you to quote me. So
Okay.
averagely it will be around there depending with the company.
For the
Uh,
whole year, 30,000 to
yes, for the whole
40,000
year. Yes.
for the whole year.
Yes, for a limit of about 5 million. So
For outpatient, right?
outpatient. We are talking of inpatient, not outpatient. Sorry, we are talking of inpatient.
So that would
Inpatient.
be 30 to 40,000 would be averaging $230, $300 thereabouts.
Yes, about $200. Let's
Yeah.
work with around $200.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So sorry.
So for
I
a
might
risk
have cut you
profile,
off. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
that kind of risk profile I've explained there. So
Mm-hmm.
again, that will is highly dependable on the person. If they're
Yeah.
older, if they have chronic conditions, if they need higher limits, all of those factors will change the amount they pay.
So I have a sibling that has taken it for almost, they are paying almost 60 to actually $80,000, 80, sorry, 80,000 Kenya shillings. That would be equal to almost 600, $700 thereabout for a whole
Mhm.
year.
Mhm.
And I think I would typically say that would be the price range for probably an extensive cover for like 3 to 4 million, 5 million Kenya shillings, right?
Yes. So, and that's the reason why I was really being hesitant in giving figures. The reason
Mm-hmm.
is different companies rate differently, and then
Yeah.
the risk will determine how much you pay. And
Yeah.
the other additions, like the cousin you're mentioning, he might, I don't know if it's he or she, but he
Yeah.
might have other benefits that are
Mm-hmm.
included in the cover, and that's why they are paying that much. So all of
Yeah.
those factors actually work on pricing. So price is a bit relative right now,
Yeah.
but what I can assure listeners and viewers is that the
Mm-hmm.
African insurance market is not
Yeah.
as highly priced as
Yeah.
the American or the Canadian or the UK prices. We are
Yeah.
really quite affordable. We quote, I won't want to say cheap, but we are quite affordable. The
Yeah.
Kenyan market insurance you'll find is really comparable to the US. You'll find you are paying way, way, way less than you'll pay in the
Yeah.
US. Yes.
I know the price. Don't want the price, but anyway, being who I am, Kenyans, Africans, you're very money.
Yeah, and
What's the
I can
price?
see
What's
we
the
are
price?
focused
So,
on.
on general, someone
Yes.
paying at least $1,000 for insurance cover should be
Mhm.
well covered.
Yeah, perfectly. In fact, you budget $1,000 and tell yourself this is for my insurance, you'll definitely get a
So if
wonderful
an
cover.
expert comes
You'll
in,
give.
he's like Gideon. I know I have $1,000 for coverage.
Yes.
I'm good, right?
You are perfect. You are sort. Let's use the Kenyan phrase. You are sorted.
You'll be sorted for a thousand
Yes.
dollars, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now that you
Yeah.
said Africa, there's a difference between African insurance and Western insurance. Let's be honest. However, for the African or the Kenyan one, yeah, what
Yeah.
of sort of services do you get? Medical evacuations in case of emergencies, do they cover such, or what are some of the, if it's that low, so are we not getting for the reason that is that low?
Yeah. Yeah. That's still another very good question. Now, when it comes to emergency medical
Yeah,
coverage,
yeah.
uh, the general inpatient cover covers all accidents and emergency cases. So
Yes.
what that means is that in case you have an emergency, that will
Mm-hmm.
be covered. In
Mm-hmm.
case you find you're involved in an accident, that will be covered. So that
Mm-hmm.
is always covered as part
Mm-hmm.
of the basic insurance policy.
I know this is a very particular ask. Can someone, if I'm sick at home and I'm asking as a layperson, as an expert, and I needed to be evacuated immediately, does
Yes.
the insurance cover that sort of whatever?
Now, when you say evacuated,
Mhm.
you mean taken from your home to the hospital or taken out of the country?
Uh, both,
Both.
both. Yes.
Yeah, because the answers are different.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh, Basic medical insurance will have evacuation as part of
Mm-hmm.
the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Evacuation means you are being, let's say, airlifted from a certain part of the country. For
Yes.
example, you are in Kisumu in Kenya and
Yeah.
you are to be taken to Nairobi. So
Yes.
that transfer will be
Yes.
covered as
Yes.
part of the insurance. So
Yes.
the evacuation will happen if, let's say, you are within East Africa.
Mm-hmm.
The cover you took can cover you covers you within East Africa. Then
Yes.
the evacuation will happen within the region.
Yeah.
Now, when we talk of being taken overseas, for example, in taken back to the US or to India or to South Africa. Now,
Yes.
the insurance will not ordinarily cover that except that you decide you want it. You must ask for that extension, the
Oh,
overseas extension. Why?
okay.
Because the overseas extension is part of the insurance, yes, but it's always limited to limits, and then you must always inform the company
Mm-hmm.
when. I mean, you must always consult the company if
Yes.
they will cover you for that. So there are
Yes.
certain things they might not cover. They might not cover your air transport, but they'll cover the hospital in that country.
Yeah.
Uh, so they might not cover your. Let's say you are traveling with someone. That person will
Yes.
be covered when they're with you in the hospital, but they might not be covered as they travel with you. So
Yeah.
all of these benefit overseas, we call it overseas extension.
Yeah.
That overseas visits that will
Yeah.
be covered when you ask for it. So that is highly dependent on the product that you buy. And that's why
Yeah.
it's important for you to understand what you're buying.
Yeah.
You need to understand, does it have that option opted in? When you know that, then you take that cover because it will give you that. But if it's not included, then you might be disappointed when they tell you they don't have that.
Actually, just that actually just points to how you need a consultant so that you actually just go over
Exactly.
everything.
Exactly. And that's why it's important to deal with a consultant. It's
Yeah,
important to deal with someone who is in the industry and who
yeah,
knows how different companies. You see, um, as an underwriter working with a specific insurance company, I
yeah,
know the products of that specific company.
yeah,
But
yeah,
as a consultant working outside the insurance company, then
yeah,
I know different products of different companies. What that
yeah,
means, I know company A has these options, company B has options A, B, C,
yeah,
D, company C has.
yeah,
So
yeah.
when we discuss you as the client, when you come to a consultant like myself or any other consultant and
Yes,
you ask for their services, they should be
yeah,
able to listen to you and help you know which products are in the market and
yeah,
tailor the best products for you. So
yeah.
that's why a consultant is really important.
Oh, okay. Now that makes a lot of sense. So for the
Yes.
expert who is coming in with a family, oh, actually
Mhm.
two kinds of people that have actually gotten request. Yeah, and for guys,
Mhm.
whoever is looking for Masiga as an underwriter, as a insurance, kindly go to my description. I'll leave when this video is done. Go to my description. I'll leave the contacts. I'll link you up with Masiga. So just contact me and I'll link you up with Masiga. Masiga, two types of people that I've actually talked to that I think with the my wife is smiling at me from there. Two types of people that I want to ask on behalf. Yeah, one,
Yeah.
I have a lot of inquiries as a realtor for men who are retired. Um, retired. See, these are older men, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Who are coming to probably to relocate to retire in Kenya. And one of the benefits they're actually coming to look for is insurance because it should be lower in Kenya, of course,
Yeah.
and with other benefits. For let's say for 40 to 60, 70 year olds who are coming here in Kenya.
Mhm.
Um, what did I want to ask? So for them, is there what are there particular insurance covers catered for such for retirees? Let's actually be for
Yeah.
retirees.
In insurance, we have a polite term. We call them seniors.
Okay, seniors. Seniors. I like seniors.
Yes.
Yeah, seniors.
So yeah, we have insurance for seniors.
Mhm.
Seniors are anybody who is 60 and above. So
Oh, okay.
not all insurance companies give a product for seniors. So again,
Yeah,
that's where you have to know the
yeah,
product.
yeah,
But assuming you are above 60 and you want
yeah.
insurance for medical, then the
Yeah.
insurance companies that offer that,
Yes.
for example, can I mention one?
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Please.
for example,
I hope
CIC.
I hope they can later on they can send us a check. Just kidding.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to market one specific company. I just want
Please
to
do. For
talk
the essence of
generally.
this, please do.
Yeah, but for the yeah, at least to help people understand what products are out there, I
Mm-hmm.
can use one product that is from CIC.
Mm-hmm.
It's a group. CIC is one of the top tier insurance companies, and I
Mm-hmm.
think maybe you'll ask me about again insurance companies. They're also of
Yes,
different
I'll do.
tiers
I'll do. I'll do. Yes.
and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's one of the top. So they have a product for seniors. We call it. They call it the seniors medical plan. Now it
Mm-hmm.
covers for people who are between 60 years and 80 years.
Yes.
Uh, it's specifically tailored for them.
Mm-hmm.
That means that the cover allows the person to be covered for all the things we said: inpatient, outpatient, GP consultation, specialist consultation, prescribed
Mm.
drugs and dressings, diagnostics, laboratory, all of that, health and
Yeah.
checkups, all of that will be covered for seniors.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
seniors need special care. They are constantly with hospital checkups and all of that. So the insurance is covered to take care of that. So
Yeah.
they'll be covered when they are 60 and above. But
Yeah.
assuming you have insurance and you are below 60, what
Mm-hmm.
happens, how insurance works is that if you've had insurance from when you are young, let's
Yes.
say someone like yourself, Gideon, and
Mm-hmm.
of course, all of us get old. We'll definitely
Yeah.
get 60s, we'll get to our 70s one day. So
Yeah.
as you advance in age, but you have the insurance, then that does not become an issue. That's not an issue at all. So if you
Okay.
have an existing insurance
Yes.
and you've been covered before, then
Yeah.
it's really easy it's like you're transferring that same cover that you've been having. So you just
Oh,
say, I've been having this insurance, I have my medical insurance history. So it works
yeah.
really easy. But now, if you're applying as a new client to take insurance and you're above 60, then you will fall in the category of the seniors plan, which is
Okay.
a little bit better, a little bit different, but it's tailored for people of that age.
Okay. I think there's a very big group you've left for me. Actually, my clients, the 40s to the new young, the young ones, 40
The,
to
the,
60.
the,
Is there something for them as well? And
the, the,
I'm
the,
assuming
the 40 and
most
under
will work
40.
for under 30 or 30s. Those things will have for those, but 40s to 60 thereabout. What about them?
Those are the people I think I would say insurance people want. Insurance companies to have those ones.
Oh
Why?
my
They're healthy, they're energetic, they have good income. I mean, there
yeah,
are people who are really focused on working. They have the money, they can afford to buy the product. So they are the perfect age group. And
yeah,
you apply, you will definitely get the best covers, especially if you don't have if let's say you are healthy and you don't have existing conditions, you will definitely get very good cover. In fact, you will get the best terms as a client.
okay, okay, awesome, awesome. Now that you are that, so which are the top insurance companies out there that you'd actually recommend?
The top tier insurance companies. Now, uh, I again, I'm a bit hesitant to mention them by name, but
You might lose one the other ones that you don't mention.
yeah, but because I mentioned one, let me mention like two or three
Yes,
more,
yes,
just because I mentioned one. Now we
yeah,
have uh, AAR is an old company that actually specifically deals with medical insurance.
mm-hmm.
They started that way. They started with medical, but now they have divested to other products. So
Mm-hmm.
AAR, we have Britam,
Mm-hmm.
we have Jubilee. Um, do I go on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go on, go on, go on. I have no affiliation to any.
We
Just,
have AIG.
I don't have any affiliation to them, so I
Yeah.
really don't.
Yeah. So yeah. So this when I talk of top tier, first of all, let's understand what that means. This
Yeah,
means these are companies that are in the billion plus category. They are doing they are over a billion kind of premium underwriting.
yeah.
And they have branch networks all over
Mm-hmm.
East Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them have these extensive branch networks. So
Mm-hmm.
I call them top tier they are called top tier because of that. So
Yes,
these ones will be able to handle any kind of claims because
yes,
they are top
yes.
level. They have all these multifaceted faceted products, and then they have really developed underwriting and claims processes that are
Yes,
highly developed. So
yeah,
when you appear in a hospital with their card, because what happens when you apply for insurance, you'll be given the smart card. So
mm-hmm.
if you happen to have a card that is the company doesn't have good relationship with providers, then you might find yourself having problems. That's why I said uh, we recommend high tier companies for
Yeah,
expats. Why? Because the high tier companies will always be acceptable. Whichever
yeah,
specialist you go to, whichever hospital you go to, they'll be
yeah,
acceptable. So
yeah.
I think I've mentioned like five. CIC
Yeah,
is one of them.
let's just go back. So you said CIC.
Yeah, I say CIC, AAR,
Mm-hmm. Jubilee.
Jubilee,
Mm-hmm.
Britam,
Mm.
uh, AIG. So
Yeah.
those are about five. and
Yeah.
any other that is over $1 billion. Right now I might not like mention them. I don't have the list with me, but
Yeah.
I'm just trying to give you an indication. So
They
those
can
are,
look for you if they want a comprehensive list, yeah?
yes, of course, yeah. And then because of course I'll also be able to tell them which company offers what, and
Right.
which company is rated differently by
Yeah.
the providers, because providers rate the companies differently.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
card you show up with and you are treated like VIP. There's
Yeah.
one they have to double check behind the scenes. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
that's what
very
I'm talking
interesting to
about.
know, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, because it's all about claim processes.
Yeah. Oh.
So
Yeah.
how companies handle claim processes matters a lot. If they're able to pay their claims efficiently, fast time,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
become the darling of providers.
That's good. Actually, great question. But now that there's, I had written a question around reimbursements. Yeah, how does that work, or
Mhm.
I'm looking for the question, but yes, it's around reimbursements. I don't know whether in terms of insurance, I don't know. Just try and figure out maybe what that
I think I
means.
know what you're asking, Gideon,
Yes.
now.
Mm-hmm.
I think what you're asking is that assuming you went and got treated, you
Mm-hmm.
went to a hospital and
Mm-hmm.
got treated, and maybe the hospital is not part of the panel, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe whoever you've gone to, the specialist, is not part of the list of
Mm-hmm.
people who are insured, who are part of the providers for that particular insurance company, and
Yes.
you need to be paid back. So I believe that's what you mean by reimbursement.
Probably, but yes. Uh-huh.
Yes. So how that works is that when you take medical insurance, you will have a cover that, you will be given a list of providers,
Mm-hmm.
uh, providers who the insurance company has partnered with. These will be hospitals, these will be
Mm-hmm.
specialists,
Mm-hmm.
doctors, specialist
Mm-hmm.
doctors, these will be
Mm-hmm.
specialist service providers. Now,
Mm-hmm.
when you go to any of those that are
Mm-hmm.
in the list, you
Mm-hmm.
don't need to really pay anything. You
Okay.
simply need to have your card, and
Mm-hmm.
when you show up, of course, they'll check you out,
Mm-hmm.
confirm your identity, and you'll fill up a claim form. You'll fill a
Mm-hmm.
claim form at the hospital or wherever the specialist is. They'll have the documentation for the company. So you'll fill that form, the information. So the provider, the hospital or the specialist will take it from there. So they will
Yes.
provide you with the services that you need, whether it's treating you inpatient or outpatient, whatever it is that they'll be doing. And of course, now at that point, yours is done. You are taken care of. Part will happen between the provider and the company. So that
Yeah.
process will not be part of that. That's between them. But
Yeah.
assuming
Mm-hmm.
you need to see a specialist, or you need to go to a hospital, or you are somewhere where you need to be treated, and whoever is treating you is not part of the panel, but
Yes.
you have your medical insurance, then you can still walk to that institution or that specialist, provide
Yeah.
your card. They
Yeah.
will be able to contact the company, tell them we
Yeah.
have a patient here who has insurance with you. So the
Yeah.
company will make the necessary arrangements to make sure you also again fill the claim form. That
Mm-hmm.
is again important. You need to get the claim form from the insurance company. You will fill that. Once you
Mm-hmm.
fill that, now in this case, you might have to pay, because that facility does not
Yeah.
have an arrangement with the providers. They will be
Yeah.
like, okay, pay us, and then we are going to receipt your payment. We'll
Yeah.
give you the receipt and everything to show that you've paid. So you will take this back to the company and they reimburse you. I think that's where
Oh.
the question came from. So they
Yeah.
reimburse that cost.
Yes.
Now, the reimbursement process takes, most good companies take about 7 days,
Yeah.
on average, 7 days. Some
Oh.
will take up to 14 days, but a good company should be maximum 7 days. So
Yes.
if you're working with a company that is efficient, you'll give them the receipt and the paperwork. that needs to be done, which is the claim form, and they should reimburse you within 7 days.
Awesome. That's a very good segue to go to another question. You might have answered it when you're talking about specialists, but let me just ask it forthright. If I'm coming with a pre-existing condition, diabetes, whatever it is, lifestyle disease, something of that sort, or is there something? Of course, the premium will go up. So, if you come with a pre-existing condition, one, do I get coverage? Still get coverage, and two, are there specialist medical coverage for people who are coming with pre-existing conditions as well? I think that covers both the medical part and the insurance part.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I'll tackle that question in two. I'll explain it in two ways. Insurance products, the medical insurance product has what we call pre-existing conditions. And when we talk of pre-existing conditions, we are talking of, like you said, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, anything that a person may be suffering from. And they're on medication, they're on treatment, and they need, of course, to take insurance. So, yes, the insurance will cover for that. Most insurance products cover for pre-existing conditions. And when you are covered for that, this way, again, it becomes important to have a consultant. One of the conditions in the insurance policy, we have something called waiting period. So if you have pre-existing condition, the insurance will take on your conditions, but you might not be compensated immediately. They might say you need a certain amount of time to wait. Maybe it might be 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. So you need to know what kind of waiting period is part of the product. But yes, all pre-existing conditions will be insured. Most products actually insure that. Now, the second part, which I said I'll answer in two parts, is the chronic conditions. So there's the pre-existing and there's the chronic. Chronic conditions are what we call terminal illnesses. Terminal in the sense that this illness has no cure. It's just being managed. For example, things like HIV and other related conditions, things that
cancer be part of that as well.
Yes, situations that need you to just keep managing them, but doctors really are not curing you. They're just putting you on medication to keep you alive. Now, chronic conditions are also covered. Most insurance products will have that as a cover, but again, you have to look for the waiting period. How long is the waiting period? So both of them will be covered, both chronic and pre-existing, but look for the waiting period. What's the waiting period? So that's where, again, you need a consultant.
To round that up, what if someone has a very, I don't want to say very special case of I'm thinking maybe when you're coming from there, you have a very cases which are not normal in Kenya, medical issues which are not normal in Kenya. Two parts. Are there very specialized doctors in Kenya? And would that also be covered? I know you might have covered it, but I'm just asking as a layman.
Okay. But maybe just on a lighter note, when you say very specialized cases, I'm assuming you're talking about illnesses?
Yes.
So sickness?
There are conditions that if someone told me, I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never even heard of it.
No,
especially someone who's coming from a Western country. There's some conditions that I probably have never had.
Trust me, I can also, I may not be a doctor, but because I've been in this field for many years, I've come across different kind of cases. For example, there are all kinds of conditions that are genetic. Genetic, they are not really sicknesses. They are genetically activated conditions that maybe kick in at a certain stage of someone's life. So you'll find they have these rare, hard to pronounce names, but it's a medical condition. So I believe that's what you're talking about. And those conditions are there. And they're also in our country. I've come across conditions that doctors gave a definition and you didn't know what that is, but it's a sickness. And this person needs treatment. So if they're on medical cover, the insurance company has to rate them. So, yes, I can assure you, Kenya as a country is highly developed medically. Our medical facilities are really highly developed. That's one thing I can say. I have not met a conditions that could not be handled. What happens is that they would always want to maybe fly people out of the country for more highly technological care. So we still have the technology, but there might be a higher technology that is in other countries, maybe like India. So most providers in Kenya will cover. We have specialists who take care of those conditions, but they might not have access to certain technology, and that technology is in a country like India or in South Africa or maybe the US. But mostly, most of the providers partnering with the India. So. In that case, they will airlift you to India for the technology, but the specialists are actually in this country. The doctors or whoever is handling you will be in this country. So they'll be like, okay, for this condition, we can handle it, but for this technology, we can take you to this nation. Why? Because, for example, let me talk of India. It's highly developed medically. So they have high technologically advanced equipment that is not in many countries. So, and because of that, many providers partner with them. So even insurance companies partner with them. So assuming you come and you take this cover and you have this specialized condition, yes, you'll be covered within here. And yes, just make sure that it has that option that in case you need to be airlifted and taken out of the country, you will still be covered.
Thank you. Just briefly answer this. I've seen one comment from a viewer I want us to cover, but just before I cover that, concerning maternity and family, a bigger family care insurance. So if an expert is in Kenya, but they want specialized, we have all the best doctors, but there's a certain sort of technology they need in India. Is that also, we are saying that's also be covered?
Yes, that will be covered. Very true.
Oh, that will be covered as well.
But you have to make sure the insurance covers the product you are buying has that as an inbuilt option. Because if it's not there, then they will not give it to you. So that's why you need to know, what does the product have? Does it have that airlifting? We call it airlifting overseas transfer. Does it have that option for overseas transfer? If it's there, then take that product.
Awesome. There's a comment, the Rich Life, who was actually did, I know him. So the two questions that he actually says, to have in Kenya, to have maternity insurance, you have to have used it for more than a year. So first of all, can we deal with maternity for expats who are coming here? They have a family, they're looking to have more kids, or someone may even be here and they have a partner here, they have kids. First of all, for that family and maternity, and then for someone who is coming in already with a big family, is the insurance that covers everything, the whole family? I think, are those two different questions? They are still the same?
Yes. Actually, you've asked three different questions, but let me tackle them. Let me break them down.
Yes.
So let me start with the maternity, because you started with the maternity.
All right.
In as much as I think maternities should be part of family, but of course there are people who might not have a family, but they need maternity. So let's start with maternity. So maternity is always covered as as an opt-in, as an added-on cover. So when you take the outpatient, you must make sure you take when you take the inpatient, you must make sure you take the outpatient, and then you take the maternity option. So when you take the maternity option, what that means is that you'll be covered for normal birth delivery, or cesarean, or this cesarean that is you choose. The woman, the person decides, I want to option. I'm looking for the word. So you decide to have the cesarean yourself. So that is covered. Now, your viewer asked a question that you have to wait. Yes, he's right. Maternity has a waiting period of, in most cases, is almost about 10 months. So that means you can't be pregnant and take insurance and take maternity, and it will cover you for that pregnancy that you will have at that particular time. As a consultant, I'll say it as it is. So,
Yes.
so
Please
I'll
go
just
on.
yes, I'll explain. So what happens is that the insurance company wants you to have been on cover for the maternity. So the reason for you taking insurance should not be because you are pregnant. The reason should be you wanted the medical cover, not the maternity option. Why? Maternity is a sure claim. When you are pregnant, definitely you'll have to get a baby within 9 months. So if insurance gives you cover when you're pregnant, that means they'll definitely pay that claim. So that will not really be insurance. You know the risk, you know yourself. But when you come, you're not pregnant, and you say, I need maternity cover, they'll give it to you. Why? Because it has a waiting period of 10 months. Now, a pregnancy takes 9 months.
So they've covered that one.
So that means that you will definitely fall pregnant when you have the insurance cover. So that's why there's the waiting period. Now, that's the part of the question. The second part of the question is family.
Yes.
An expat can come to Kenya with their family, and actually they can have family packages. Most insurance companies have what we call family packages. They're family. So they'll cover the person we call the principal member. The principal might be, in this case, let's use a standard family: husband, wife, and children. So so let's say it's a husband, his wife, and children. So the husband is the expat. He'll apply for insurance as the principal. So the package he'll buy will be for family. So that means it will cover him and his wife, and maybe he'll specify whether he has 2 or 3 children. Now, when it comes to children, children will be insured up to the age of 18 years old. But some covers go up to 22 years old. When they get 22 years old and you still want to insure them, then you need to tell the insurance company that my child is above, because some parents travel with kids who are in college. So they are above 22, but I need to cover them. So most of the insurance companies will extend that to 25 years old when you tell them. So yes, a family package exists. So all you need to know is what limit are you taking. Why? Because the limit you take determines whether it will be adequate for you as a family or whether it's not. I mean, for example, you take a limit of 2 million Kenya shillings, and maybe just say that in dollars. So 2 million.
Let me just say that very fast. 2 million Kenya shillings will be around 15, 16, $17,000 thereabout.
So you see, an amount like that might not be adequate for a family.
Yes.
Why? Because the father is there, the mother is there, the children is there. I mean, the children are there. Sorry, the children are there. So all of these people will be in that same limit. So you'll need to have a higher limit. You need to get the company to give you a higher limit, a higher package for you, for the family. So, and I think the third question, which I believe I must have answered, is still around family.
Yes.
Yes, I think you wanted to know if an expat coming to Kenya can access family packages. I think that's what you wanted to know.
Yes. I actually thought even maybe extended family, something like that, but I think you've
Oh,
answered that.
extended. No, extended. I think I've explained it when I was explaining the family
Yes.
unit,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
which is father, mother, children.
Yeah.
So why? Because insurance has something called insurable risk, insurable interest.
Yeah.
One of the principles is insurable interest. So I cannot insure my brother, I cannot
Yeah.
insure my sister, but I can
Yeah.
insure my wife. Why? I have an insurable interest in her,
Yeah.
well-being. I can
Yeah.
insure my children because
Yeah.
I've insurable interest in them. So that's how it works.
Something that I've actually not covered, but let me ask you, prescription for experts who are coming with particular prescription. I think that means they need certain kinds of medicine, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that I've really heard of it a lot in the Western, especially American setup. Prescription drugs. Does insurance cover those sort of drugs, prescription and stuff?
Yes. Prescription drugs will always be covered. Why? Because the pre-existing condition is covered.
Yes.
So we are assuming someone who has a pre-existing condition might be on medication, and
Yes.
whatever medication they have is prescribed. So
Yes.
prescription drugs will always be covered. Now,
Mm-hmm.
prescription drugs will the the drugs will determine. You see, some drugs are highly expensive, so you have again to know what limits, because
No.
different opt-in
Yeah.
packages have
Yes.
different limits for prescription drugs. You know, they have these sub limits. The
Yes.
product. Let me maybe use this opportunity to explain the insurance policy. It
Yes.
has the main limit. The main
Mhm.
limit in this case will be maybe 5 million, which is out inpatient. But
Yes.
under that, we have what we call sub limits.
Yeah.
Sub limits are for every condition. So, for example, chronic condition will have a sub limit of maybe 500,000.
Yeah.
Uh, dental will have another sub limit of maybe 50,000. Maternity will have a sub limit of maybe 250. So
Yes.
prescription drugs have a sub limit of
Yes.
maybe 250,000 or 500,000. So depending with the product, you will have to check out what is the limit for prescriptions. So if
Mhm.
it's lower than the kind of drugs you use, then you will need a package that gives you a higher limit so that
Yeah.
you can access, you can comfortably afford the prescription drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. Okay. One of the other questions I know I had asked it. You are actually the one who had raised it. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of experts who are making Kenya their home base, and this is what I mean. They want to travel all over Africa, but
Mm-hmm.
primarily they travel while they're making Nairobi their home base, right? That makes sense.
Yes.
Does insurance cover have? I know we talked about East Africa. Does it cover the whole of Africa?
That I can say no.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Why? Yeah. Why? Because we go back to what I said, the technical part a little bit, which is treaty. Most
Mhm.
insurance companies have treaty agreements to cover within East Africa,
Yeah.
but it's no with a but. So,
Mhm.
but the insurance can be extended to cover Egypt,
Mhm.
Morocco, and South Africa.
Yeah.
Why? Because those three countries are highly developed medically,
Yes.
and assuming you are working within Africa and you
Yeah.
happen to be any of them, the
Yeah.
insurance company can extend the cover to there. But you must tell them, I'll be traveling to this country A, country B, country C.
Yeah.
So if those countries are outside East Africa, then
Yes.
they might consider. But the ones I know they have no problem
Yeah.
is Egypt,
Yeah.
Morocco, I think Tunisia too, and South Africa. Why? Because those, like I said, are highly developed. But now within East Africa, we have Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, we have DRC Congo, we have Rwanda.
Yeah.
Did I mention Uganda?
Yes, you did.
Yes. So all of those countries are part of East Africa. So if you're working within that region, the East African region, then
Yeah.
the insurance will cover you for that. But you must always get clarity from the company. Let the company tell you which regions, tell them I'll be traveling to whichever countries so that they know. And then they can decide, because they might decide to cover you. If, let's say, you spent a lot of time in a country like Cameroon, it's
Yes.
not part of that, but you work there extensively, then you need to tell the insurance company, I work in Cameroon. Is it possible for you to extend this cover? If
Yes.
they can get the treaty for that, they will. If they cannot, then they'll tell you outrightly no. So that means they'll only cover you when you're in East Africa.
Awesome, awesome. I look the last two questions as we wind up. Yeah.
Okay.
If someone is looking for insurance as an expert, yeah, right? Let's say they're not even come to you directly. They are looking for they are consulting with another consultant, right?
Yeah.
What are the key things that they should be looking for as an expert when they are looking at insurance companies?
So key things in terms of the consultant or in terms of the company?
Key things in terms of you can actually do the two, in terms of the consultant and in terms of the company.
Now, let's start with the consultant.
Yes.
I fall in that group.
Yeah.
First of all, you have to understand that insurance is a highly technical field.
Yeah.
Technical in the sense that it's a legal contract.
Yeah.
And being a legal contract, it has all these exceptions, exclusions, and conditions,
Yeah.
which are usually part of the policy. They are what we call salient features.
Yeah.
They're always there, quiet. So what the
Yeah.
insurance brings in front
Yeah.
is the colored. Now I'm talking as a consultant, so I'm not
Yeah.
talking as an underwriter. If
Yeah.
I was talking as an underwriter, I'll put on a different hat, but I'm putting on
Yeah.
the hat of a consultant.
Yes.
So when you decide to go for a consultant, always make sure the consultant knows the the the, the exclusions, the warranties, the conditions, and all those, I can use the word nitty-gritty, all
Yeah.
those hidden features, facts about
Yeah.
the product. That means
Yeah.
they must be professional.
Yes.
That means they should be people who have studied insurance, they are
Yeah.
professionals. So
Ah.
the professional has to come out. Why
Yeah.
am I insisting on that? The reason is if you come to a country like Kenya, we have many millions, thousands, hundreds of people masquerading as insurance agents.
Yeah.
Many of them are genuine, but we
Yeah.
have quite a number that masquerade. When I say masquerade, it
Yeah.
means they pick you from point A and take you to the company. All they do is link you. They
Yes.
don't have the knowledge of the products, but they know company A has product A, and they know
Yeah.
you are looking for that product. They just take you to that company. So they can't explain anything to you if you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Neither can they negotiate with the company, because
Yeah.
again, when you're dealing with a professional knows what is in the product. So assuming the company is arguing, it's a legal thing. So it's going to, like in court. So your consultant should be able to tell the company, this
Yeah.
and this is covered, this and this is part of the policy. So why are you behaving? So your consultant is your advocate.
Yeah.
So if they don't know what the product covers, then they'll not really advocate for you professionally. They
True.
will actually, if there's a problem, they might just disappear. So
Yeah.
look for professionality. Look for
Yeah.
someone who is professional, who knows their stuff.
Yeah.
When it comes to insurance companies,
Before you go, sorry, before you
sorry,
finish with the professional,
yes,
what are the is there standard certifications that someone should actually ask for?
yes,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, yes,
Mm-hmm.
there is. You see, by law, by
Mm-hmm.
Kenyan law, all
Mm-hmm.
insurance agents must have what we call a certificate of proficiency.
Yeah.
That is the certificate. That's the basic like
Yeah.
qualification for an insurance agent. So
Yeah.
that is the basic. So any insurance person you deal with must have that. That's
Yeah.
the best. Now beyond that,
Yeah.
this person must have been either in the field for many years. That's why
Yeah.
I don't want to like focus on the degree or the papers. I want
Yeah.
to focus first the basic, which is certificate of proficiency. They must have that.
Yeah.
Second, they must have been in the field for many years, so they must know what products are there. So all you need to do is ask them technical questions. What is
Yeah.
covered? What is not covered? What is excluded? What is not excluded? What can be added on? What cannot be added on? So let
Yeah.
them explain that. If
Yeah.
they do that efficiently, then of course
Yeah.
they know what they're talking about.
Yes. Yes.
So we have that the COP, and then we have the AIK, we associate, and then we have the degree. So depending with the qualification a person has, they'll be more qualified. But experience again works because there are
Mm.
people who have just that COP, but they
Mm.
have worked in the industry for 10, 20, 30 years. So they really know their
Yeah.
products, they know the product inside out. So again, someone like that will be of great help to you.
All
So
right.
all you should avoid is somebody who might even have the COP, but when you ask them basic questions, they don't have the answers. They
Yeah.
they fumble around. They don't know what's covered, what's not covered, what's
Mm.
excluded, what's not excluded. When they fumble, then run. Keep
Yeah.
away from that person.
Yeah.
Let them be. Let them know their product. Let them talk. Let them explain. If they
Yeah.
can explain it, they know it.
Now to the insurance, what are also the things that you these are the key things you should look for, and if you don't see, run.
Okay. Insurance company. Now I only want to crucify insurance companies. You see, they want to every insurance company is the best. There's no
Okay.
insurance company that is good. So all insurance, and then sorry, that is bad. All insurance companies are really good. Good.
Okay. Yeah.
But of course, we are in the industry, and
Yeah.
we might say this, look out for this. So without mentioning names, without
Yeah.
mentioning any insurance company in particular,
Yeah.
the first thing you need to look for is the claim process.
Oh.
Claim process.
Yes.
Claim.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Insurance is all about promise. The company takes your premium, takes your money, and promises to pay you in
Yeah.
case this thing happens.
Yeah.
So if they do not pay in time, they do
Mm-hmm.
not pay efficiently, they start bringing in complications at the claim process,
Mm.
run.
Yeah.
Run. Why? Because it means their claim processes are not efficient.
Okay.
Either they have taken on too much risk,
Mm-hmm.
or they are not focused on taking care of the claim processes.
Mm.
And because of that, service providers have left them some service. In fact, let me use, now that we are talking about medical insurance,
Mm-hmm.
you might have a medical card
Mm-hmm.
for certain insurance companies, without mentioning names.
Mm-hmm.
You pay the premium, you got the card, you go to the hospital, you present the card, and the person receiving the card tells you, wait. And you wait for the next 2 hours. And anytime you are asking what's happening, they tell you, we are checking, we are checking, we are checking. That tells you there's a problem between them and that card holder or that insurance company that you have. And it's always around the claim process. Maybe they owe them, they have not paid them for maybe a long time. So when you have a card that you present and you're treated like VIP, you show the card and it's everything is paperwork fast. It means that particular insurance company has a very good working relationship with that service provider. Now, those are the kind of companies we as consultants recommend to clients. That's the kind of a company I recommend to an expat. Why?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to find yourself being turned away, but you have insurance and you're being told, no, we won't take your card. So look for the claim processes. That's the most important thing you need to do when you're dealing with insurance companies, the claim process. Everything else really doesn't matter. Why?
Yeah.
Because again, we might find small tire companies. Now, maybe that I'm here, let me also redeem the small companies. You might find a small company, small tire, but they're really efficient with their claims. Trust me, when you have their card and you go somewhere, you'll be treated with VIP
Treatment.
kind of treatment. But if you don't, if you are dealing with a big company whose claims are inefficient, and we've had situations like those, we've had big companies whose claims were not okay, and people were turned away without mentioning names. Some of them were even in the media. So that's where a consultant becomes very important to you. Why? Because they know you don't go just for the name. It might be a big name, but there's a problem behind the scenes, and the consultants know. So they might refer or tell you to go for a smaller company, but it has better claim processes.
I know I've said this for the last. No, these are the last two questions I've said. Must have said that for people, just for the sake of just mentioning, local insurance for the local community will not. Even I can answer, will not work for an expat, right? But you can just explain one, because as locals we usually do have insurance that is provided by the government, that is basic. And probably there is an extra twist like, why would I not take that? But I know the answer. So, but anyway, just brush on that as we wrap up.
Gideon, you are drawing me to this debate, the hospital insurance debate, the SHA
I know.
debate.
It's very unfortunate, but can you do it?
And this is a political situation, so I'll have to be careful what I say. But
answer the question and disappear.
But let me answer. Now, in Kenya, we have a basic insurance that is government provided. It's now called the Social Health Association or something, the SHA, a Social Health Insurance Fund. So that SHIF, yes, that SHIF covers basic insurance for anyone who is a Kenyan. Yes, as long as you're born in this country, you have access to take that. It's the government way of providing medical aid to anybody out there, whether you are a small farmer in the village or somebody working. But, and this is where I have to be careful with my words, that insurance might not be adequate. It might not be adequate for you as a person. Why? Because that scheme has its own challenges that anyone who is a Kenyan knows, so which I don't want to go into. So the scheme has all those challenges, and because of that, you might think you have the scheme, you have the insurance, you show up in a hospital and the hospital turns you away. And they tell you, we are not taking this. But of course, it will cover you for certain hospital, for certain places. So it's the good. I would advise, now that I'm saying this, I would advise anyone at least to have that. At least have that. That should be like the starting point. Make sure you pay your contribution to that, for that. Why? Because when you have that, there are government hospitals, there are hospitals that will take you on. So you need that as basic. But as a consultant and as someone who understands that, who has experienced situations by relating with clients, medical problems they don't call you and tell you they're coming.
Yeah.
You suddenly find yourself in this situation. You go to hospital and you're told, no, this needs specialized care, this needs the other, this needs. So suddenly you find you really need expert help, expert treatment.
Yeah.
Now, at that point, if you don't have insurance that you've taken from a company that is established, then you'll find you have to pay from your pocket, or you'll find you have to call your relatives. In Kenya, we are really good at that.
Yeah.
We call everybody and do fundraising and all of that. Now, there's how much far fundraising can go. So I'll recommend and advise anyone who at least has a salary. If you can afford insurance, medical insurance company looks expensive when you are not sick. That I can tell you from experience.
Yeah.
But it's not expensive when you are hospitalized.
True.
That again, I've seen time and time again. People, some of my clients, they will come, they'll be healthy like me and you, Gideon, and they'll be paying this premium every time they write me a check. They're like, why am I paying for this thing? And I've never gone to hospital. I'm like, okay, just keep paying. And then, of course, insurance is all about risk. So the risk happens, and this person is hospitalized, and that insurance becomes really, really handy. And they're like, whoa, thank you. You helped me, because they'll be taken care of without any problem, and they won't have to ask anyone or ask for any fundraising or try to get a loan or to sell or auction their property. So I'll recommend and advise anyone who can afford who can afford to buy insurance, at least buy the basic. The basic is inpatient. Buy that. Just buy the inpatient. That might not be very expensive. Just factor in your budget. Buy that. Whichever limit will work for you. Buy that. Have that, and don't worry about it. Just have it. So that's what I like. And for expats, of course, them, they are used to that, because the American market and UK and US insurance is mandatory. It's not like, so they are used to paying for it. So when they come here, I'm sure they continue with what they're used to. But for our people, we need to indoctrinate. We need to help them understand that the insurance is a basic need. It's not a privilege. It's not for the rich. It's actually a basic need. Medical insurance, especially, is a basic need. You need it. That I can assure you.
That's a very good way to wrap it up. Actually, Masiga, what usually happens with my life, most of the questions come after the live. So for those of you who want to ask questions, I know I'll have a couple of them. If you actually done this in the morning, you should. I really wanted you to do it in the evening, because that's when most of the diaspora is watching. But it's okay. When they ask next questions, I'll definitely link you up. Um, Masiga, any last passing shots to experts? I know there are actually two of them who told me they'll watch when it's in the morning from their side. So, any particular parting shots for them, for experts who want
Yeah.
to Kenya, but they're apprehensive probably because of medical insurance, maybe of this and that. What did you tell them as you wrap up?
Parting shot. I'll tell you that if you come to Kenya, we have a highly developed medical insurance, and we also have highly specialized medical institutions, hospitals. So we are really quite developed in terms of medical care. So as an expert coming to this country, feel free. Just know that you are coming to a place. It's not the bundus. It's not the bush. We are really developed. So all you need is come to and connect to a local person, a local consultant who can advise you, who can tell you what is in the market. They can tell you the kind of products that are in the market. They can tell you the kind of hospitals that are in the market, and then they can find out your specific needs, special needs, anything that you need that is specialized, and know how to tailor that and get you the right product. So the other thing you need to do is check out every product you take. Make sure it covers the kind of personal needs you have. Every person is different. So make sure you bring that out either in the proposal form, whatever needs you are looking for. Let the insurance be able to cover it. Find out, does it cover that particular need that you have, whether it's prescription drug, whether it's evacuation, whether it's overseas transfer. All of those things must be covered in the insurance as you apply for it. So just make sure you're dealing with a professional. Just make sure you're dealing with somebody who knows what they're doing. And when you do that, I can assure you, you'll enjoy the best medical cover, medical insurance that is much, much cheaper, much, much affordable, more affordable than what you pay for in the US or in Canada or in the UK. So, karibuni sana Kenya.
Thank you so much, Masiga. You should have mentioned medical. Are you aware there is actually medical tourism that is actually starting to pick up? People are actually looking forward to come to Kenya, or you can just start on it so that we don't have anything that we left off. So I was talking to a CEO, Kea Wakesho, and their company is actually bringing in people for medical tourism. So they're advising people, instead of getting medical attention in the States where it's very expensive, just come to Kenya because you have the facilities. Actually, Kenya is the second ranked best medical coverage in Africa. That's better than Egypt, Morocco, only second to South Africa. So you can briefly just mention on the medical tourism bit of it. Have you seen it? Are you starting to pick? And then really wind up now.
Yeah. At this rate, we'll keep going, but that's okay, Gideon. I love this talk. Actually, I love expressing insurance. I'm really passionate about insurance, I think, as you've noticed. So it's my passion. Yes, you are very right, Mr. Gideon. You are right that Kenya is one of the highly ranked medical insurance destinations in Africa, second only to South Africa. And the reason for this is that we have hospitals that are highly technologically developed. And that's why I said there are very, very few procedures that might be referred outside this country. Very few, not many, very few. Most procedures are actually done here. Most procedures are done in the hospitals here. As long as you're dealing with the top tier hospitals, you simply need to know which hospital has which kind of medical care. The facilities are here, including our top government hospital. It has one of the best technological equipment in Africa. In fact, I was talking to a doctor, and the doctor told me they have equipment that are not in some parts of like Eastern Europe, but they are here. So, and for that reason, people who've discovered that we have those kind of facilities and are in the in the USA, are coming to Kenya for medical treatment. Why? Because one, when you come to Kenya, the exchange rate factor, if you're working with the dollar and you're coming to work with to pay in the shilling, you'll find that becomes really, really affordable. What looks like expensive to a Kenyan to you might not look expensive at all. Because you are converting a higher currency to a lower currency. That's one of the reasons. The other reason is that as a country, we have specialists, highly qualified specialists who've studied in universities like Harvard. They are top of the top doctors. Actually, one of my very best friend is one of the top neurosurgeons in this continent. So these doctors are highly, he's been to the US. He's been to Harvard. He's got all these qualifications. He's a Kenyan, but highly qualified. I mean,
Yeah.
he'll work in any top American hospital.
Yeah.
So if you come to Kenya, you'll find these people. These are the specialists who will be treating you.
Yeah.
And they'll not charge you the same way they will charge you when you're in the US. And for that reason, that's why the lady you are talking to, Wakesho, she mentioned that the medical insurance tourism. That's why it's happening. You see, it's quite. It's a little bit quiet. It's not really like being. We are not beating too much drums about it, but people who know are doing that. You know, they are referring people here. Why? Because all it takes is just that flight. If they can fly in, they'll get this medical care, and then once they're treated, they fly back. They go back to the USA. So it's happening. You're right. It's happening.
And sorry, that's it, Masiga. Thank you so much, guys. Kindly bring in the questions when you see the live. Bring in the questions. Contact us. I'll leave the contacts at the description. You can get in touch with Masiga, or you can get in touch with me, and I can link you up for that. For people who are looking for to come to Kenya and you're looking for an accommodation, kindly consider me. I'm a realtor for the last 10 years as well. I've been doubling up with other things, but a realtor for the next 10 years. I know that was a motorbike, yeah? That's some of the things you have to deal with in Kenya. It's a really loud motorbike. So thank you so much for those guys who will be watching later. Thank you so much for those guys who are watching. Thank you so much. I think we had like 3 or 4 guys who are watching. Thank you so much, Masiga, for the information. It's been a pleasure. I've actually learned. I actually feel like I've learned like someone who's never. I don't know much of that. So thank you so much. And I'll talk to you later. I'll remove you from my chat here. That's okay with you, Masiga?
Thank you. Really appreciate Mr. Gideon. Thank you for having me on the show. And thank you that I could answer a few questions. And I look forward to answering more questions as they come in. Thank you.
Okay. That's very well. Asante sana. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. For those who are tuning in, a lot of questions which I have now. At least I can actually send someone a link and just tell them if there are actual questions you haven't talked to, or if there are more interviews like this you'd want me to cover as someone who is interested in relocating to Kenya. Kindly do send them to me. And thank you so much. See you next time, and bye. Haya, Mr. Masiga. Mr. Masiga.
Yes, sir.
Ah,
That's a wrap.
wow.